Good afternoon. I thank the Atheist Center for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you all about science and scientific temper. Now, I would like to speak about what is the status of science and scientific temper in India. At the outset, I am very sorry to say that the status of scientific temper in India is very low and it is going down every day. With the type of people at power and everyone peddling the non-scientific attitude and spreading such attitude among the public and calling that as the symbol of progress or even being Indian or being patriotic, a lot of nonsensical things are being spread which is against scientific temper. This is not how the India of Nehru was supposed to be. If you remember, Nehru was one of the first persons, probably among other leaders also, and Nehru was the one who promoted scientific temper in India. And though it was not incorporated into the constitution at that time, later his daughter Indira Gandhi incorporated that into the constitution by adding the Article 51A(h), which says to promote scientific temper is one of the fundamental duties of every Indian citizen. But hardly any people know that this is our fundamental duty, and hardly any people care about this particular duty, which is very, very important for the benefit of this country. Without scientific temper, there cannot be any progress. That is very sure. And that should be the real basis for the progress of any country. Everybody agrees that science is the basis, but very few people are ready to accept that scientific temper is the basis. And many people do not even understand what is this scientific temper. Okay, let me first clarify this problem. That a lot of people think that scientific temper is supposed to be related only to the scientists. No, it is wrong. And on the contrary, if you see, and again I am very sorry to say this, many scientists in India do not display the scientific temper. That is the worst part. Many of the scientists, though they are rationalistic in their thinking or whatever it is, they are afraid even to talk about scientific temper. They can only talk about science, but not scientific temper. That is the pity situation in India. Not many people are ready to come out and speak out. Like our Professor Vandana came and spoke here today, not many people are there who can come out and speak their mind in the public. That is another worst part. In fact, I should also mention that once I wrote to a lot of scientists, a lot of top Indian scientists about the spreading of this scientific temper in India and why they should come out and how they can work, etc. But I'm very, very sorry to say a lot of people replied saying that they are not interested, or there were many of them who did not even bother to reply. Those who replied also said, and let me mention one or two comments, what is the use of telling, the people are all kind of fools, they don't listen to us. That was one response. Another was, they are even afraid that they will be hated if you do that. That is another sad affair. Just if you tell the truth, you get hated. In Telugu, there is a saying called Yatharthavadi Loka Virodhi. So that's the status of affairs. That means if you tell the truth, you become the enemy. That is the status in India. That is why I would like to say that scientific temper does not mean knowing science. No, that is not the meaning. The meaning is to differentiate between truth and falsehood. That is scientific temper. How did science progress? How did science, come to the status of today? It is by what you call as calling a spade, or boldly declaring what is the truth. If something earlier what was believed to be true, if some evidence is there today which says it was false, we are ready to accept that it is false and then accept the new truth. That is the scientific temper. But we are all kind of chained or caged into believing that there is an eternal truth which never becomes false. That is the basis of religion. But science is based on continuous exploration of truth and development of that truth and widening of the truth over a lot of things. And that applies not just to science, It applies to each and every branch of knowledge, be it economics, be it sociology, history, or it can be law, or whatever it is. We are in pursuit of truth and betterment of truth and widening of truth and understanding and establishing what is true and learning to differentiating between what is true and what is false. And unless that particular thing is incorporated into the young minds, it is not possible for the people to learn what is science and what is the non-science and what is the difference. And that brings me to the topic that people are many times getting confused and people are taking advantage of spreading non-science or nonsense as science. This is what the biggest thing which is happening today. This is one of the things, like when during one of the prestigious science congresses, people had the guts to say, the fixing of Vinayaka head is plastic surgery or something like that. So people do not even know what is the difference between mythology and science. That is the status of affairs in India. And we are encouraging, either directly or indirectly, this kind of falsehoods being spread in India among, that is our spot, among the educated elite. And if somebody can speak that kind of thing in front of all the scientists in Indian Science Congress, you can imagine, what is the level of science and scientific temper in India. I don't think in any other country this kind of things can happen. Maybe in some downgraded countries, but I want to compare with the better, not the worse. So that is another problem. So now what I would like to do, of course, now I am going to retire, and personally I am a PhD in physics from Indian Institute of Science, and I have been always in favor of developing scientific temper. But due to my job or whatever it is, I was not able to directly involve physically. So I was doing this on the internet, on the Facebook and other means to spread the ideas of scientific temper, how to think rationally, what is the relevance in terms of social relevance of science and scientific temper, etc. Now, I would like to devote my post-retirement life into this, and I would like to go to the schools or colleges and train the students from that age onwards and teach them how to think rationally, what scientific attitude is, and how it helps in differentiating between true and false. And at the same time, there is one more thing that the students should learn, and that is to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. That's another problem. People do not even know how to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. That is where religion takes the place, and they seem to be defining what is good and what is bad. But it is time for us, rationalists, atheists, humanists, whatever name you may call, maybe free thinkers or whatever, but all of us, we should define what is good and what is bad for the society, and that is what all of us are working towards. And we should be defining how to do that. We should not tell directly what is good and what is bad. Instead, we should make them learn and capable of differentiating between what is good and what is bad. Similarly, we should make them learn how to differentiate between what is truth and what is false. If people can be made to differentiate between these two things, then I am very sure there will be a lot of progress in this country. Thank you very much.